Hi there! I'm Kelley Pitts, independent Stampin' Up demonstrator for quite a few years, about 15 years. I started in 2005, so I am just learning about doing videos and Facebook Lives, and it's still new to me, so hope you'll be patient with me with the technical part, but hopefully I've got some folks tuning in. I just wanted to be sure and be on time since I didn't even get to come last week. I had the second COVID vaccine after having COVID, and that was not fun at all. So I appreciate you being patient with me. I'm going to wait a few minutes. Hi, Charlotte. I'm so glad you're watching. I didn't know if you would get to. Hope your hubby is doing better today. I'll see if anybody else is tuning in. Hi, Davina. Wow, I haven't heard from you or seen you in quite a while. It's good to see your name pop up. I'm going to get going here in just a minute. I'm going to see if I can get my iPad where I can see comments and my computer. So give me a moment to refresh and do that now that we're live. Alrighty, got it there. Let's see about here on the iPad. And I've got a little tiny bit of volume over there I need to get rid of. There we go. Thanks again for tuning in. I'll be right back with you. I'm still doing that technical stuff. We've got, it's hard to figure out because there's always quite a delay in between when I say something and then when I can actually see it on my screen. So we're gonna do a refresh and see what happens over here so I can see your comments. Well, Charlotte, I'm happy to have you for as long as you can stay. Let's see here. We're gonna try this one more time. See if anybody is out and about and watching. This one still isn't coming on. You just never know. Now I think we're finally getting it. Thanks again for your patience. Let's see who all is tuning in and commenting. I will get going. Let's see what time it is. Just barely after 6. If anybody's there watching, I'd love to see your name come up. It makes me feel like I'm not talking to the window over here behind me. Not behind me, but in front of me. Looking out at a park that I can't see because I have the blinds down so y'all can see. I am going to be talking about Paper Pumpkin tonight. Hope you have heard of that kit. It's a Stampin' Up monthly craft kit that is a surprise each month that comes in the mail. You can subscribe for just 1 month, or you can do a 3-month, 6-month, or 12-month prepaid subscription to Paper Pumpkin. And it's a subscription-based service that it's easy because you can just get creative, even if you're not in a creative mood to come up with ideas to make something crafty. It is very therapeutic sometimes to sit and craft. So this is a perfect way to do that if you don't have a lot of supplies and you'd like to start building some craft supplies. You want something fairly easy, but you want to be able to send special handmade cards to people you care about. So next month we are focused, the Paper Pumpkin will be all about hope. It's called Bouquet of Hope. And it has a lot of floral images and thinking of you and sympathy cards. And heaven knows this has been the season for that, hasn't it? And I think it's so important for people, when they receive a handmade card, they know how much love went into it. So I think that would be a great kit. If you haven't signed up for Paper Pumpkin yet, February 10th. Today is the deadline, and I can post the link on the Facebook Live in the comments. Hi, Jennifer. Thank you very much for sharing and popping in. We're just talking about Paper Pumpkin for next month, and it is $22 a month plus tax. Wherever you are, the tax is. The shipping is included. So that's an awesome deal because you get each month you'll get a stamp set and you'll get a little ink spot that is smaller than our stamping pads, but it'll still get the job done. And you'll get to collect a lot of colors that way. Each month will be a different color. They don't repeat even within a year. They don't repeat colors. So that's one great thing about the Paper Pumpkin Kit. The rest of it is that you have usually supplies to make 8 cards. Sometimes it's more, sometimes it's different sizes. Sometimes it's no cards, sometimes it's full cards, sometimes it's a whole different project. It might just be a 3D project. So it could be just about anything. And it's always fun. And if you aren't crazy about the way they did the kit and you want to do something different, hi Cindy, glad you're tuning in. If you can do whatever you want. It is your kit, so you can make whatever you want out of it. If it's a 3D project that they send to you, then you can change it into cards or vice versa. So that's a lot of fun to have a lot of flexibility, but have instructions if you're just in a zone. You know, I have had COVID brain fog for a while, so just having something to start with the actual kit there with supplies cut out, that is a starting point for your creativity to jump off. So it's a fun thing. So we will go ahead and get started. I think maybe everybody's here who's tuning in, and others will just have to catch up, I guess. Okay, I'm going to switch the camera around so I can show you a Paper Pumpkin kit, and we'll get started on showing you some alternatives that I did from the January kit. And that is, of course, Valentine's Day focused. So I thought that would be perfect for tonight, since we've got a few days left before Valentine's Day. And you may have to think about next year. You may want to sign up for this Paper Pumpkin before then, so that you'll have something to send your Valentine that's very special. Okay, be patient with me as I switch my camera, if you would. Alrighty, trying to get going here. You can't really totally adjust everything until you actually make the move from looking at me to looking at the desktop. So hopefully we'll get this straight. And as I said, it takes me a couple of seconds before I can actually see it. Once I've moved the phone down, it's hard for me to see what y'all are looking at for a minute. I think we've got it where I can tell what's going on. But in the meantime, I'm going to show you a little brochure about Paper Pumpkin, and then I'll show you an actual kit. As I said, the month-to-month subscription is $22 a month, and then you save just a little bit if you decide you want to do a 3-month, 6-month, or 12-month. And tonight, if you'll order for February, you'll still get in on the celebration items, which for every $50 you spend on the catalogs, and it can even be in this subscription, you get something free out of the celebration catalog. And if y'all want to see some, I think I need to get that a little closer for y'all to see that. I should have printed this out bigger. I didn't think about not being able to get close enough. Hopefully you can see that now. But the 6-month would get you 2 free items or 1 of the $100 level items. All right. Hi, Susan. Glad you tuned in. Okie dokie. We're going to show you, for any of you who are new, I don't know, I think I saw Davina earlier. I'm not sure if she's still in. She hasn't commented again. I saw her pop on. But I think you've seen the Paper Pumpkin. I know everybody else that I can see on has seen it. But it's the paper crafting kit by Stampin Up. And each month you get the instructions for how Stampin Up suggests you make the product that's in the kit, or the projects. Could be cards, could be projects. And they had some really cute cards this month, with one of them with a mailbox theme, and one of them had the heart theme. It was all about sending hearts, as you can see, and all about love. So who can argue with that? It's got to be fun, right? So I changed these up a little bit, kind of did my own thing, as everybody is certainly capable of doing. And I just wanted to show you kind of how the instructions come. If you haven't seen these, it does show you some step-by-step instructions on how to make it exactly like they suggest. And it has a little ruler down here. How handy is that? And then it also gives you some alternative suggestions on the back of the brochure on other things that you can do with the kit. And then if you subscribe through me, of course, you can watch the videos that I do. I'll do alternative videos each month. And if I get enough interest or requests, for those who can't watch the video, I may be able to do you some PDFs or at least give you the measurements. I'm going to try to do those on my blog. So we will go ahead and get started. I've got 3 different alternatives to show you. And I'm going to go ahead and put up the Paper Pumpkin subscription link if y'all want to write that down. And I can send you a link if you'd rather do that. If you'd rather request one, I'll be glad to send you that. I am going to show you the 3 alternatives that I did. This is the first one that I did with the, oops, just a sec here. I'm moving my mouse around here. Thanks for sharing, Susan. Y'all remind me, somebody be in charge of reminding me about door prizes before the end, and I'll draw. Will somebody take that on as their responsibility? That would be great. Looks like I'm still a little crooked here, aren't I? See if I can straighten that up for you. Don't know that that helped a whole lot, maybe just a little. Whoop. Okay. The love heart that they suggested, I'm going to show you kind of how I changed it up. I actually have the love on a different background. This square came in the kit. I'm going to show you all 3 and then I'll come back and make them. How about that? For you, whatever we have time for. But I changed, as you can see, the love was on the petal pink background. This is petal pink. This is flirty flamingo. So I added my own cardstock for the background, added the cardstock here, but I used the same little square that came pre-printed in the kit. I used the same die cut, the same ribbon, just kind of did it a different way. And then added a couple of die cuts. And I made it a gatefold instead of just the regular open and close fold. Then, what do y'all think of that one? Do y'all like that one? We'll figure out which one we make by looking at the responses and see which ones y'all like the best. Okay, I'll show you my next one. This is the mailbox one, obviously. This is very similar. I just, instead of using the card base that came in the kit, which is the full card base like this, folds in half, but I just couldn't bear to waste. I felt like I was wasting the back of the cardstock to do it that way. So I cut mine in half. Boop. And if you'll cut those right in the middle, and then I'll show you how I did die cuts here to get this frame. I also used some of the little hearts that were in the kit. I used the stamps that were in the kit to do the little hearts, and it had the little scallops in the kit. You can see that were used here, and added a little flower, and I'm going to show you how to use blends to color some of these embellishments. So that was another easy one. And then I did something totally different, totally non-Valentine, because I thought it was so cute. This month, they did a little add-on kit, and the add-on kit was for some little boxes, little treat boxes, and I'll show you what those look like. We're kind of I'm interrupting myself, but it came with these cute little snails and the same die cut labels that came in this kit, and it came with little treat boxes that you just fold up and make into a cute little box. But I didn't use those yet. Of course, it's not quite Valentine's Day yet, so I have not done those. Okay, but I just thought the little snail just made such a cute little guy to put on a baby card. When I saw this, the petal pink color, I thought I had seen some cards done on Pinterest and YouTube that had the pool party with it, pool party color. That's the blue. And so I couldn't resist. I had to do a little gatefold to be able to show y'all. This is basically the same. They're both called gatefolds, this one and this one. It's just that this one starts with the cardstock this size, 8.5 by 5.5. And this one starts with the cardstock that's half, it's cut the other way, 4 1/4 by 11. So it's like that. Haven't done the insides of the cards yet. I thought we might do that on air. Okay, so those are the 3 cards. Totally different, don't you think? So it just shows you what you can do with a kit if you've got all these ideas and all the supplies cut. Then you can take it and make it whatever you want. Okie dokie. We're going to start. Let's see who likes which ones. Yes, Jennifer, that is true. I did think of that with the colors, that the snail works for boy or girl. So that's why I thought that'd be cute with the petal pink stripes and the little pool party. This actually is a paper that is retired, but I'll show you a couple more that you could do that are current that you could put on here. But I just was using those for a different project, so I didn't use them for this one. All right, here we go. I'm going to move this down here, and we are going to get started. Who wants to do the mailbox? Make the mailbox card or the love heart card? Let me hear some responses, and I'll pull that one out first. Anybody? Well, y'all get that figured out while I get this adjusted, hopefully, so it's straight for you. I know that makes me crazy if I'm trying to watch a video and nothing's straight. But it is just kind of difficult to get there. Okay. We're going to do that right there. Mailbox, mailbox, mailbox. Okay. I had 2 mailboxes that came in fast, so that's what we'll do first. And I had my Stampin' Up paper pumpkin peeps over here this weekend, and we made these alternatives. So some of y'all it'll be a repeat for, but hopefully I have new folks who might be interested in doing this paper pumpkin deal. So I'm excited about that. I took the cardstock, and of course, if you're not familiar with cardstock, it comes in an 8.5 by 11 sheet, and hopefully I have a bone folder here somewhere that I can score with. Sorry, it's hard to get everything going by myself. Boy, I had Jennifer here for one Facebook Live, and I got spoiled really quickly. Okay. So you just score your cardstock. This is half a sheet cut the portrait way and not the landscape way. All right, and then I have taken, let's dump out, hopefully I have a flower in here. Yes, I do. Okay. And the kit comes with envelopes too, I didn't say, but aren't they cute? The Poppy Parade color, very pretty. So we may stamp something on that shortly. All right, and for those of you who have a Stampin' Cut and Emboss machine or some other kind of die cut machine, these are the rectangle stitched dies, and that's what you use to cut out, or that's what I use to cut out this rectangle in the middle here, and then I cut out the outside of the rectangle. So, and just ran it through the die cut machine, not that one, obviously. This one, how funny. This is the middle one that I used. You turn it upside down on your paper and crank it through the Stampin' Cut and Emboss machine. And we even taped both of these together onto the paper like that and ran it through. This was out of the cardstock that I showed you earlier. Just take that out. I don't have one of those handy, but I did show it to you earlier. So you'll just cut that out like that, and then we actually just glue that one on. And you can use your favorite. I use liquid glue. I've used Stampin' Seal, whatever you want to use. I just try to always use my silicone mat if I'm using glue. That really does help keep from getting your work surface all glued up. So we're just going to use some of the Stampin' Seal. I haven't used this in a while, and it may have been used at a class, so we'll see. These take a little practice to get used to, but I want to show you a couple of different kinds of adhesive so you can kind of learn as we go. And this one, I just put flat in here and try to keep your borders about even all the way around. There you go. Then I cut the other die. This middle die I used to cut out the mailbox. And it's almost the same size that it comes in the kit. It's just when you use the die, it gives it that great little stitching around it. So we're going to put the dies up and out of the way now that you've seen those. Okie dokie. Now we're going to use our Stampin' Dimensionals because, of course, we have to pop this up. And we're going to stamp on it, though. Ha ha! Don't forget that, Kelly. Do y'all talk to yourselves like I do? I don't know if that's a good habit or a bad habit. But I'm going to get this out of the way where y'all can see this. And I want to give you a little tip. Oh, I did not show you the stamp set yet. Let me show you the stamp set. It has Sending Love Your Way, Love, and You, XOXO, Be Mine, Hi Valentine. It has the little snail, and it has this gorgeous big heart that's made up from hearts. And it has this little cute combo of flowers and hearts that we're about to use. And we're going to use the colors that are in the kit. They are always listed on the sheet, the instruction sheet, the colors that coordinate with the kit. Sometimes I find that there are other colors I like just as well, if not better than what they suggest. Sometimes the ones they suggest always go with it, but sometimes I find others that will go also, if that makes sense. All right, we're going to, this was the little tip that if y'all have this kit and you're playing with it, you might want to, well, you definitely want to. If you're going to stamp the petal pink here, like I did, you can see I stamped the little red, I stamped red hearts and I stamped petal pink hearts, or the hearts and flowers bunch, I guess. Whoops, I just didn't make that quite big enough. We're going to try that again. We're going to cover that up. Okay, and you probably should get a little bit closer than that than I did. Let's get that going. There we go. Because what I discovered is that if you stamp, these stamps are really sticky, the photopolymer, which is awesome because they stick to the block also. But if you try to stamp over that gold foil that comes in the kit, let me see if I can get this a little closer for you. See, I stamped the little petal pink hearts here and down here. If you stamp over the gold, when you pull the stamp up, it peels the gold off. Ah, not good. So that's why you need this little guy here. And just make sure on this stamp, when you're stamping with it, you stamp with the hearts up. Okay, that makes sense, right? I'm going to move that down as far as I can because I don't want to have half a flower or half a heart. So it doesn't matter if it goes off the page, but you don't want it going onto your Post-it note because then you'll have half a one. Okay? There we go. So we're starting with the petal pink, and then I'm going to do a few over here around the mailbox too. Straight down, straight up, try not to wiggle. That's the key. All right, we're going to clean this off. And I use my little Stampin' Scrub for that. You just twist it on there, move it around. That cleans it. This is our little Stampin' Chamois. Sorry about that. Simply Chamois, I believe is the name. Quite handy. And then you take Poppy Parade to put your red hearts that are in the middle, in between all of that other stuff. And I probably should have done these first. I think I did on my other card. But you'll get the idea. So we have a mix of the red hearts, excuse me, and the petal pink hearts. So if you want a few up here, a few more up here, if you want some over here, just always make sure as you're rotating that your hearts are up, facing up the right way. Then you can take the little Post-it notes off. Probably should have gotten those a little bit tighter in, but it works. Okay, and I thought, let's go ahead and clean this off too while we're at it. Try to get in a good habit of cleaning your stamps quickly after you use them, and then you won't ever forget and put them away. Okay. Whenever you have a little boo-boo, like I didn't quite get that heart as dark as I would like, that's one of the awesome things about Stampin' Up! Is all the coordination of products. They've got all the ink colors coordinate between the markers and Stampin' Blends and the ink pads and the cardstock and the designer series paper. You just can't get more coordination than Stampin' Up! Has. I love it. Because I used to try to go shop a little bit and try to find something, and I'd think, oh, well, this red will go with that other red paper. Well, wrong. It doesn't, unless it's Stampin' Up!, and then you're guaranteed that it will. So that is awesome. Okay, back to this. I thought the little mailbox looked a little lonely and needed a little pizzazz. So I decided I was going to just use our marker. This is a Granny Apple Green. And I just took it and made some little grass or flower leaves. Just kind of flick the marker like that. Just kind of get you a little grassy spot. I always like for things to be grounded instead of having an image that's kind of floating. And that's kind of what they had started with the little dots down there at the bottom. And I thought this would be really cute with some flowers in with the grass. So what we're going to do is show you if I can find my little flowers. Okay, hang on. Y'all saw it a minute ago, right? Anybody tell me where that is? Oh, there's the flower. Now, if we can find the little hearts, enamel hearts that were in the kit. Let's see if I put them back in the kit instead of in the box where I should have. Because on the hearts and the enamel flowers, they came just in the petal pink color. They were like this in the kit. And what I did was I took our Stampin' Blends. We were talking about coordination a while ago. This Stampin' Blend is what I used on here, and it takes a little bit to dry. Oops, and there's a bullet point and a brush tip. And when you're using the Stampin' Blends, these are alcohol based. So they're totally different from that marker that I just used here, which are water based as our inks are. So the alcohol is what makes the Stampin' Blends blend together. So you have a dark and a light of each of the colors that are available. So I just took and colored over that. I'm going to color another one. And you don't want to press really hard because you can push down on your tip so much that you kind of squish it. You don't want to ruin your tip. So you want to just lightly kind of do this and do it kind of from the side, not straight up and down like you would a pen. So I'm not going to use that one because it needs a second layer. So I've already done the second layer on these. And I've already done the second layer on the little flower. So I'm going to take my Take Your Pick tool. This end is the one that has the putty. And you just take and push it. Hold on to your little sheet of paper here. But you just push what you want right here. I'm going to show you back. Let's get the sample back so y'all can see what I'm up to. Okay, I used one little red flower over here. And they are already adhesive. And if you feel like maybe they don't stick as well as you want them to, you can always add a little dab of glue or a glue dot. You do get glue dots in the kit. And then we're going to add one of the bigger pink flowers, a petal pink. You can see how I just pushed it there. We're going to put it over here. Then I'm going to take this flower that I got out of the Tropical Oasis stamp set and dies. I can't remember exactly what the bundle is called, but there are some dies that have aloha and they have a pineapple. It's a cute little set that has some tropical leaves and flowers. And I just thought this flower looked so much like those that are on the stamp that I would use that. Okay, so we have one little fun little flower glued on here. And I just took a little petal pink heart and stuck it right in the middle. So you've got your combo of hearts and flowers there. I think I'm a little off here on my grass. I think I want one more little sprig that side. There we go. Okay, I like it. Hope y'all like it. All right, I'm glad y'all, yeah, thanks Cindy. I'm glad you do like the grass. Okay, next I'm going to show you, I thought the white envelope just totally got lost with the white background. So what I decided to do was take our Stampin' Blends, and this is the light petal pink, and I just used the brush tip and covered the entire envelope. And you don't want to go on the outside. The blends do blend, so they're alcohol, so they're going to move out. They're not going to stay in the line, in other words. So you don't want to go too heavy, and you don't want to go out of the lines with this like you would with a marker. All right, so I'm starting with the light, and I'm going to go in a little bit with the dark. The dark, it would probably be darker on the sides and on the bottom, and it would definitely, you would think maybe if there's a shadow, it would be underneath that flap, right? And then maybe at the top here, just to give it a little depth. All right, there we go. Now, the secret is going back then again with the light. After you've gone light to dark, you take the blend and blend that dark into the light, or the light into the dark, however you want to say that. And it just gives it some depth. Can y'all see that it doesn't look as flat anymore as it did? Anybody see that? And if you want a little more definition, put a little more back in there. I want a little bit more under there, under that envelope. Maybe on the side there. Alrighty. Now we're going to take a little red heart, because why not? We have plenty, right? The kit came with a lot. We're going to add a little red heart to our envelope. And then I put one of these big hearts. I'm going to move that off of my stamp pad here. There we go. And if that end of the Take Your Pick doesn't really work the way you want it to, then use your other end that's got the pokey tool on it. That's what we call it, a pokey tool. The other end of the Take Your Pick tool just screws in like that. You can also use these to scoop up little embellishments. I usually use the putty end or this end, but the spatula is great too. Okay, we have that done. Now I wanted to show you a trick with the label, because sometimes with the black, the petal pink that's in the kit, the paper pumpkin kits aren't the same exact quality of the regular cardstock because the kits are such a good value. They are really reasonable since you do get the stamp set that you get to reuse over and over and the ink spot. So the paper is not as good a quality as our normal everyday cardstock. So I wanted to show you that if you have the paper that is kind of soaks up the ink like this one, then what I suggest is using the Stamparatus, which is a great tool. And you can use it instead of using a stamp just on a block like this with the Sending Love Your Way. You can do that, but we only have a limited amount of the labels that came in the kit. So I thought I'm going to use the Stamparatus so I can show y'all a trick, especially if you're doing multiples. And if y'all haven't ever used the Stamparatus, it is similar to some of the other brands have had one of these out for a while, but they do not have all of the features that this one does. This one has hinges that you can actually mount the stamp to and then move it up an inch, so you can do a lot of repeat stamping, that kind of thing. So what the plan is here is to put this where our label will be. I've got it right here. I pulled one out, but I'll pull another one out instead of hunting for that one. I think that might be easier. But the dies came in this little piece of paper, so you punch them out like that, the die cuts. So what we're going to do is start with the middle here, and I'm going to mount the Sending Love Your Way. Try to get that straight and centered as best I can on the air with all of you watching. Ha ha! And then, oh, Cindy's got a Stamparatus. Yes, me too. I could not do without that Stamparatus. I think I've got it a little bit crooked. Okay, but the point is we're going to stamp one of these. All right. Now you mount it where you want it. And then you're going to use some pressure to make sure it stays there. And then another trick I do with the Stamparatus is I stick my bone folder in here and hold on to the paper just to make sure that everything stays where it's supposed to. Okay, does that make sense? So you're kind of using leverage to do that. Okay, now we're going to take the Memento Ink, and this is a really great black. If you're going to color in with the blends, you'd be better off using the StazOn ink. We have two different blacks, StazOn and Memento. But this Memento it's a dye ink. Okay, so what we're going to do is stamp that and hope we get it right the first time. Hope we get it dark enough like we want it. But the Stamparatus should allow us to go back and stamp again if we don't do it exactly like we want it the first time. Okay, so I'm going in here holding my bone folder on here so it kept that in place. All right, and now that we have the Sending Love Your Way already mounted, what I suggest is leaving the whole template, the whole die cut template where it is, and then you move a die cut from another position. Sorry about that. I jiggled the camera, didn't I? I jiggled my stand anyway. And I always put my Stampin' Pierce mat underneath the little hinged, whatever you call it, plate. The hinged plate, so that you've got a good flat surface. You're not doing it at an angle, if that makes sense. Okay, now we're going to try this again. Whoops, we didn't. Always put your little magnet back. Use some pressure, even pressure like you do when you're stamping. Stick your little bone folder in there. And voila, see, we have that one. So you could do that 6 times and have them all done, and they're all going to look great. And if they don't look great, you can stamp it again, come back. In fact, I'll just do that just to show you. It'll make it a little bit darker, but it should go back in the same place. Then I'll show you the comparison between this one and the first one. That one worked. See how much darker that is? But it's stamped in exactly the same spot. And if you'd been using a clear block, that probably wouldn't have happened. Just saying, it wouldn't have if I did it. It might if you did it. I'm not one to judge, but there you go. Okay, so that's the memento trick. Now, we're going to, you can take your little Simply Chamois out of the stamp case. That's what I store mine in, so I don't have to keep it in a Ziploc bag or something. And there are other, you could use some other kind of chamois if you want. I just didn't want to have to store something in a Ziploc or let it dry out each time and clean it. So I just really fell in love with this once I got it. It's kind of thick. It's probably over 1/4 inch thick. And you just wet it and reuse it, and you can keep it in your little stamp case, and there you go. Alrighty, we're going to leave that there. We'll take this, and then we're going to go back to our base here, and we're going to take the little bit of one of the die cuts. We had little die cuts here that came in the kit that had little scallops on them. And we're just going to use part of one of those. Snip it. Snip it good, right? Isn't that the way the song went? I think it was whip it maybe, but nevertheless. Okay, I did about 4 scallops on that one. And I would recommend just getting a little bit of your liquid glue, which I've got some on my little pin that I keep in my glue. So we'll just use that right there. So whatever your favorite liquid glue is, that's great to use. And I would just do, oh, I did more than that. I did 5 on that last one. Let's see what we think about just 4. Guess I was thinking about my other card. And the liquid glue gives you a little bit of wiggle room there. So if you decide, oop, rather have it to the left or to the right, you can do that. Alrighty, now we're going to take your Take a Pick tool again and get the hearts that I already used my blends on, the Poppy Parade blends, to make the bright red heart. And if you think this is too many hearts on the mailbox card, I think the metallic pearls in gold would be really pretty. But I could not find mine. I was going to show you that option, so I never found mine for the class and still don't have them. So there you go. We've got our little mailbox here. We're going to take that, and you can see with the blends, you always want to make sure when you color with the blends that you're not doing it on a card front or on an envelope, that it will matter that it bleeds through. This, of course, it doesn't matter because it won't show. But since they're alcohol based, they're meant to soak into the paper like that. And that's what makes them blend so well and have that 3D effect. So we are going to, I know some people would probably use 2 more here. If you like a lot of dimensionals and want to put 2 there, you can. I kind of think 6 is plenty for one this size. And if you want to tie a ribbon on here, you would probably want to tie it now before you stick it down. I just didn't really think it had to have a ribbon, so I didn't do one. But it's your card. You get to do it any way you want. Oh, and I forgot to tell you, I say the reason I cut this out is so that I would have this cardstock to use on a different card later, which I have not yet designed, but it's great cardstock to save. And since it's all going to be covered up, I always try to do that when I can. You just have to double check and make sure that nothing's going to show if you do that. Like, I thought about putting it at an angle, and I really had to manipulate it quite a bit to get that to work. Or I could have made this a smaller rectangle cutout. But I decided it was fine straight. So just try to get the border even all the way around. Then we're going to pop this up. And put our little greeting. You can kind of play with it and see where you want it. You just have to make sure you stay within the confines of the outline of the card base, because that's what's going to fit in the envelope. And I kind of liked it here. Again, like we discussed a week or two ago, I have it where you've got the greeting. If you see that first, and then your eye is going to be led up with the little flower here and up with the mailbox and then back down. So you want to keep them on your card as long as possible to keep that flow. You don't want something that points straight out of your card and takes them out of your card. You put a lot of work into it. You want them to linger. So I'm just going to put that right there. And that's that card. And you can just put a sheet of, what I would suggest is just putting a sheet of Whisper White, and this would be 4 by 5 1/4, the Whisper White, to put inside here. And then if y'all wanted to stamp on the inside, I'm just afraid if I do the inside of all the cards, we won't get to them. So if you want to, y'all want me to finish the inside of this card and only end up doing 2? Or do you want me to go ahead and move to the front of the next card? Because you could just stamp the heart stamp. You could just do this one. You could stamp off and make this, put this in here anywhere. You could just do some more of the little flowers that we just did on the front. Those would be cute. You could actually just put little stems on those. Kind of put that across the bottom. You can also use the, let's see. Well, I don't see it. But I had a little piece of this. This was a little bit larger. And you could use that, maybe make some stripes in here to match the front. So lots of options on what you do. But let me give you a little more close-up of this card. So it's very similar to what they did. It just has a little more spunk, I think, with the little flowers at the base. So that's my idea for that card. All right, we're going to move to the next card so you get to see another one. All right. Now we'll do the love card next. And this one is done with the Saleabration paper. And I took, this is the Gatefold that I was discussing earlier. And that just means this size card base, see, once you fold it, it's still going to be 4 1/4 by 5 1/2, just like the black one. It just opens a different way. So easy to do that. This would just be scored at 2 1/8 because you're going to have, each of these is 4 1/4. So yeah, it starts off as 8 1/2. So you, instead of making the score at 4 1/4, you want to make 2 scores at 2 1/8, which is half of 4 1/4. So you'll score it that way, and then you'll cut the, this is the Flowering Fields paper that came out of the Saleabration catalog, which you can earn for free for a $50 order. And I'll show you one of those brochures. I'll show you that paper in there. Thought I had one handy. Of course I don't. Have to open up a whole package. While you listen or talk amongst yourselves while I do that. Okay, this is the Saleabration catalog that is current right now through the end of February only. So you gotta hustle if you want your freebies. Okay, I'm going to show you the Flowering Fields. You can see all the choices here, but this is the paper. That's the full set of paper. and I used these two right here. All right, so you get a whole pack of this paper, 12 sheets of 12 by 12, 2 each of 6 double-sided designs, and you'll get that free for any $50 order out of the catalogs. So all we're going to do here, we're going to go ahead and get that celebration paper on. You can use, if you want to use liquid glue, you can do that. We have the Tombow multi-purpose glue. Or if you have your favorite glue, you use your favorite glue. You could use the Stampin' Seal that I used earlier. The only thing with the liquid glue is you don't want to use it on really thin designer series paper. You want to make sure, because it'll show little lumps and bumps if you use it too thin. Okay, I'm gonna have to have a sip of water here. I'm talking too much, I guess. Y'all aren't talking to me much here. I'm glad you like the card, Susan. Okay, now we're gonna do the other side. Double check again, make sure you're not doing the same one twice. The same side, just be careful about your side. Sorry, I'm reaching across here to my little, I keep a little wet wipe in a little plastic wine cup. FYI, that's what all my classmates all do. And you just, once you've scored the cardstock, you just use the bone folder to get those good crisp scores. And if it's still not holding down the way you want it to, you can just do it from the other side. So use some pressure, and you can use more of the tip if you want, and that'll stay down a little better that way for you. But just get those glued on, and then I'll show you what I did here. Let me take a sip of water. Okay, for the love part, this came in the kit. The little square with the heart on it came in the kit, just like this. And you could, if you wanted more stamped, you could. I just kind of thought it was plenty good just like it was, because we have this fun background here. And you can see this would be pretty just like it is, but I really liked the way the love stood out when I added the black behind it. Can you see the difference here in just the white and then adding the black border? Sometimes that one little mat on a piece really makes a difference. So I really like that DSP too. Thank you, Jennifer. I wouldn't have had this extra piece if Jennifer hadn't loaned me hers. I ran out of mine, went through, yep, I glued that one flat because these are all punched up or popped up. So use your liquid glue, use your Stampin' Seal, whatever you want. And you can use glue dots that came in the kit. You can go ahead and pop this up if you want. You do have Stampin' Dimensionals that come in the kit also. All right, I'm going to show you the little trick that I did. This is not in order the way I probably should have done it, but when I got the kit, I was trying to figure out how am I going to do a heart that fits right inside of there. So what I did was I took a pencil and just traced this heart. I just went around the inside. This is, I'm not using this one, so it doesn't have to be exact, but just to give you the idea. So you just go around the vellum like that, and then cut out a little bit on the inside of that. I actually ended up cutting myself one out of paper, cardstock, because I thought it was easier and we were going to use it for a class. But I ended up cutting that. Oh, I'm going to have to find that. Just let's see what I did with it. I may have to show you the whole steps after all, if I can't find this here. I'll show you what I did. Oh goodness, I had it moments ago before this started, so I'm going to have to go. I'll have to be right back. Y'all talk to each other, okay? Or I'll just go ahead and cut another one. I'll just cut another one. I just don't see the one I had. Sorry, I've got such a mess here. Y'all tell me, clean your mess up, Kelly. Okay. Let me go see if I can find these really quickly because I already had these done. But we'll just show you. I just cut out the little template, cut it out kind of on the inside of the line, and you probably cut that off would be easier. But it doesn't have to be exact, and certainly not with the embossing folder that I used, because it's the painted texture one, so it's not anywhere near perfect anyway. It just looks like it's kind of been slapped on the wall. Okay, then I took that, and you can either draw it out on the cardstock, or you can be brave like I am in front of y'all, ready to possibly make a mistake here, but I'm just trying to hold it tightly. Go around it. Cut this out. Now, if you have a heart punch that will fit inside of here, Stampin' Up's got a great heart punch pack that's a two-part. One is a scallop and one is a solid that fits inside of it. That's a great one. I just don't happen to have that one right now. We've also got a lot of heart dies, and some of those probably would work. I was just trying to match this heart exactly, so I decided to do it this way. Okay, so now you check yourself, see how you did. Maybe it was this way. I don't think it's symmetrical. Okay, I'm gonna do a little bit better there. Trim this out a little bit more here. And we're gonna call it good. So you may be a little more particular if you're not on the air. I didn't know I was doing I didn't know I was gonna redo this. But anyway, that's kind of close for what we wanted. And then, since I don't know where the ones are that I'd already cut out, I'll show you how to do this. I have not done this on the air, so we will see how this works. This is our Stampin' Emboss machine, and we do have a mini one. I do not have it yet. It would be very handy for these videos, but I don't have it. So this, you can use different plates, and the instructions show you exactly which plates to use if you're embossing versus if you are cutting out dies. So right now we're embossing, so we're going to use number 1, and this is a 3D embossing folder, so we're going to use number 1 and then put our piece of cardstock in the texture folder. And there were 2 different ones, and I've done them both, and like I said, can't find them, but we're going to use the painted texture folder. And all I'm doing is placing the cardstock right in the middle of the folder, putting it hinge first into the machine, and then using number 4 as our instructions said. You always make a sandwich. You've got the bottom is your piece of bread, then you've got your meat and your cheese, which is your texture folder and your cardstock, and then your other piece of bread on front, on the top. And I'm just cranking it. I don't think you can see the crank on the side. I'll show that to you in a minute. Here we go. There you can see the handle, hopefully. If it was the mini, you could for sure. Now I'll move that out of the way and show you what we have here. Voila! Look at that. Is that an awesome painted texture folder? I love it. It's part of the art gallery suite. And both sides are just gorgeous. They're raised kind of in different ways. So one is embossed and one is debossed. But with that texture, you can't really pick a side. They're both gorgeous. Love it. Okay. We'll get that out of the way. And you could choose other dies. The one that comes with the Ornate Garden would be really pretty too. So we're going to, I'm going to make that a little less pointy. That's kind of a pointy side instead of a rounded side. Okay, you can see not everything has to be perfect. It's your card and it's a handmade card and people will appreciate it no matter what. Okay, now let me get my dimensionals. I need a keeper. Anybody want to volunteer? I know y'all who know me well do not want to volunteer for that. Yes, Jennifer, I have card gremlins, definitely for sure. I agree. Okay, we're going to pop up the heart, and you can put it in straight, you can put it in at an angle. I kind of think we're going for a little bit of an angle since it's not perfect anyway. Okay, and then I die cut a piece out of, let's see, Susan, I think you probably have this set. Let me show you which one it is. This is in the Painted Labels dies. There we go, Painted Labels dies. And it's the smaller size. Then I used this one on the baby card too. But this is the one that came in last year's Poppy Suite. So, just wanted y'all to know that if you have that set. This, of course, could be a punch. It could be any kind of label. It doesn't have to be this one. It was just something. This one was really pretty, I thought, to mount behind the love that comes in the kit, which we'll put. We need to make sure this is not too close to the edge, because you don't want it, you don't want the Stampin' Dimensional showing on this part that hangs out here. Okay, probably, okay. Y'all do as I say and not what I do, okay? Put the dimensional just on this side so it evens up with this one. Because this one already has a dimensional, does that make sense? So this can go flat and this is raised. So what I'm going to do behind this end, if I can get this Stampin' Dimensional off of my thumb, we're going to use a glue dot. Which would have been easier if I did that first, but it will work like that. Okay, now we're going to get the love, hopefully, that came in the kit. Let's see where it is. Talk amongst yourselves. Alrighty, here we go. Here's the love piece. And again, kind of see how you want it. If you want it straight, see, there are a lot of ways that could go. Do y'all like it with the L down like that? You want it at the bottom, or do you want it straight? Y'all let me know and I'll do it the way you want. Anybody have an opinion? You want to do it straight? You want to do it at an angle? Anybody there? Anybody? Okay, well, I did that one straight, so I'm going to do this one at an angle. I didn't hear from anybody. I know it takes a while. Oh, Cindy said straight. Do we have any more opinions? Another straight? Okay. Sorry, I'm not keeping up with my stuff here. Okay, I got two straights. We'll go with straight. Okay. Think we're cooking with gas here. Oh, we like our little bow. And when you're attaching this focal point piece to your card base, make sure and remember, don't glue the whole thing. Just glue the part that's going to be on this flap, because the rest of this is going to show. And that's why you can't cut anything out of that black piece, because it'll show. That's what I was talking about earlier, where when we did if y'all remember on the rectangles, I said you have to make sure that if you cut out of the middle, that part's not going to show. So this is what I was referring to. Okay. And you can, one way to do this is to just flip it over like this. And then you can use your Stampin' Seal. You could use your liquid glue, whatever you want to do. But if you flip it directly like this, you know right where your glue needs to be. The other way I've tried is to hold my hand over where it shouldn't be and then glue the other side. So either way works, but you just have to pay attention. And then try to get this. You can go right in the middle, just kind of eyeball, probably a little bit closer to the left because this comes over. So visually that kind of moves it a little bit more. So even though this is a little bit more space from this edge to the edge of here, than here to here, this visually moves it that way. So I usually adjust and kind of go the other way a little bit to kind of even that up. Does that make sense? There we go. So there's that. Oh, now we've got 2 straights and 2 angles. Sorry. We did a straight. But I think it looks cute both ways. Alrighty, and then in your kit this time, we basically got an entire spool of ribbon, which is really awesome. Little black ribbon. And if y'all have a bow jig, you can use one of those. Those are great. If you don't, you'll have to cut it the old-fashioned way. I mean, tie it the old-fashioned way, like I'm about to do. Because I don't sell bow jigs. Good gosh, I should have put some lotion on my hands. Goodness, Susan, don't look at that. She's got some great body butter stuff that I have right over there that I would love to put on, but it's going to get my cards goopy, so I'll have to wait until after. But I did bring it in here to use. If y'all ever need some body butter, it's whipped shea butter cream. It is awesome. They have it at Dermasmooth that's on Memphis, 50th and Memphis. And that is Susan's place. But it smells heavenly. And especially now that I can smell after COVID, I'm excited to be able to smell a little bit again. But body butter, it's a great thing. I should have used it earlier so my hands wouldn't look like this. I promise I haven't used it in a couple of days, so. Okay. Free plug there, Susan. If I didn't really like it, I wouldn't say so. Okay, we're going to use our ribbon scissors, and I do keep a separate set of scissors just for ribbon because it cuts so much better. Once it cuts paper, they get dull or too dull to cut ribbon. So let's see. I think it needs to be a little bit shorter, maybe a little bit smaller than that. I kind of wasted a little bit there. And then once you get it the size you want it, if you're sure you're set, then you can take both sides, the bow part, the loop and the tail, I guess it would be, and pull those together. But if you're still adjusting it, you always want to hold the middle knot and pull one side or the other. Okay? And we can change. I don't like that. Whew. We can't have an upside down bow. Heavens. I want it left. Or do you like it right? Like I had it on the other one. I like them all connected. We could do it here. Under the L. Y'all want to try that one? I think that looks pretty too. Anybody? It is a fabulous product, Susan. The lemon one, I have the lemon one too, as well as the lavender, and they have this size and bigger sizes. Sorry, free plug for Susan, but it really is awesome. It is body butter for sure. Okay, left-hand side there. for something different? Y'all like that? I'm going for it. We're going to have to wrap this up before y'all get sleepy. And this is kind of a big glue dot, so I kind of roll them with them on the roll here. Kind of take that, and you can either put this on here, like where we're going to put that. Y'all kind of see what I did? Kind of stuck the roll there. That's where I had decided to try the ribbon on this one, or the bow. For a little bit different look than the other one. Trim that just a teeny bit more. And I try to trim the tails at an angle. I think that looks better, but that's just personal preference. So there's our love card option. Okay, glad y'all like it that way. Both of them. Okay. Now, are y'all ready to go to bed? Are you tired? Or do you want to see really quickly the other card, the baby card? It's already been an hour. I'm ready to close it off. If y'all are ready to go, just let me know what you think. I'm happy to show you real quickly on the other one, or we can call it good since you've already seen it. I can just tell you what I did if you want. It'll be pretty quick. Y'all let me know what sounds good. You want me to whip this one out real quick? It's basically the same as we did on the other. Just use your bone folder on your cardstock. Glue your two sides, and I glue them opposite. I didn't ever glue the other ones in, did I? Ha! I forgot that on the other one. Let's finish that first. Whenever I do the ones on the inside, I glue, like if I've got flowers on the front on this side, then I put flowers here. So I always do the opposite. But I think that really adds so much to use a little bit more designer series paper, but it really dresses up the inside of the card a lot. And then again, you'll just put the white piece in the middle and do a little stamping there. Put your greeting, leave yourself room to write, or put a big greeting if you don't want to write a whole lot. But I would just put the same size white piece fits right in here. As you can see how pretty that will be to tie in the white from the outside. And our basic white is a little brighter than our Whisper White was. So it will go better with our Paper Pumpkin kit embellishments. So, okay. I've got a request on the baby card, so we're going to go for that. And again, this is the die that I showed you earlier. And to cut out the little, kind of like a little nest. I kind of was thinking it was like a snail trail thing, but this was in the same kit that the poppies were in that I showed you the label earlier. That's what I cut that out of. And this, as I said, is from a retired set with Pool Party, but I just could not resist the cute little polka dots. Okay, we're just going to glue that one. Kelly, you don't have your silicone mat like you should. Here we go for gluing. Okay, let's look for my sample first so I know what I'm doing. Okay, that's a trick. I think the blue was on the right. What do y'all think? Is that what y'all remember? Let's see what happened to that set. I've lost my card. I'm pretty sure it was the petal pink on the left. This was on the right. So we're going to quickly do this. So the petal pink is one of the card bases. And I cut it in half first. And then cut this in half, of course, so you have both sides to use on one card. So you could actually make 2 cards out of this with 1 card base. Okay, then we're going to flip it on the inside, and I'm going to put the petal pink one on the right, because on the front it's the opposite. So we put it here. Then we're going to put the blue, and I'll show you the whale of a time paper would be pretty with this. I'll show you that. This set, since this one's retired, so you could use that paper. That would be pretty. And also as an option, the art gallery paper has a pool party. So you can see how that would be pretty also. So that works. But I just didn't want to cut this because I was going to use this for a class. So I couldn't cut this out to show y'all. Okay, here we go. Now we're just going to use the little snail. And if you didn't order the kit, and they may still have some of the little snails, I found my card. The little add-on kit, if you don't have this, then you can stamp it with the stamp that came in the kit. And what I did on mine, as you can see, I think it makes a big difference, is to fussy cut around it so you don't have this much white space. But in the essence of saving time, or in the interest, I guess, more interest of saving time, we're just going to do it this way. All right, we didn't stamp here. We just stuck this on. We're going to put this kind of over here, because you want everything to kind of flow together, okay? So I have that there, and making sure that the dimensional doesn't hang off the back on that one. And then I've already stamped the Hello Baby, and I cut this out with this is from the So Sentimental set. I thought, I don't even think of a baby set that I have that's current in the new catalog, but I found this one that says Hello Baby, and it's on this stamp set. I use this stamp set all the time. I love the script, the combination there of the serif and non-serif or sans serif. I love this whole set. I love this So Sentimental set. I use it a ton, as I do the coordinating Stitch So Sweetly dies. These dies cut these images out perfectly. And then these are the cutest little scalloped rectangles. So if you've got something that's that size, this is a great bundle to buy. And I'm not sure if it's still in a bundle for 10% off, or if they're just sold individually. They may be individual at this point. I can't remember which catalog they're in. Anybody know that? Okay, so the Hello Babies from there, and then I use this to die cut that out with right there, as you can see. Okay, moving on. I'm not going to fussy cut him. I'm just going to stick him on. We're going to stick him kind of towards the top. And on the Hello Baby, I thought that heart would be cute, colored like the others, like we did here. Not a good idea. It turned a light greenish, icky color. So that was not an option to color. This is with the pool party blend. Nope, didn't work. So I used the blend itself, and probably should have used just the marker. We're going to try the pool party marker, because the blend really kind of goes outside the lines there, and that is so tiny. We're going to use just a little bit of the marker, because it doesn't bleed like the blends do. But I love the blends. They're great, and they're on the right paper. But if it's not the right paper, whoops, and I should have move that over a little bit more. You might think about that when you're doing this. Oh, good. I didn't take the back off of one of those. That made it easier to move over a little bit. I kind of moved it a little bit more so that this won't get tangled up when you're opening and closing so much. See? If it's moved over more. Okay, and this is going to help hold it. So there we go. There's the Hello Baby. And I have him, whoops, shouldn't have taken the back off that one either. So kind of get it like you want it here. And you can overlap those so that it's all one focal point. It really flows better. Sometimes you think, well, I have too much white space. Maybe I need to put one in this corner, one in this corner, one in this corner. But really your eye is attracted to what the focal point is. So that's why you want it all to flow together. So I use the Pool Party sheer ribbon around here. And I think I tied it in a knot first. And I do right over left, then left over right, and pull more on the left. Left over right, right over left, pull more on the left, okay? Now, for some reason, when I tie a bow, I have to tie it upside down for it to really work right. So, there we go. Again, right over left, left over right, pull more on the left. Now, hold the knot in the middle to adjust the loops or the tails, whichever one. And you can adjust this if the bow is a little bit too far in, too far out, too far up, too far down. Just adjust it where you want it. You can kind of bend the cardstock a little bit like that. Can you see what I'm doing? Kind of curve that, and then it will slide to where you want it. I want it a little further in, and I'm going to go a little bit. This one's a little bit behaving differently than that other one. So there you go. Easy peasy, lemon squeezy. So I would, once again, I would just do a white piece in here. See how that sets off the white and the stripes there and the blue, the Pool Party Petal Pink. That combo just had to be used for a baby card, don't you think? Alrighty. Oh, thanks, Jennifer. The So Sentimental set is in the annual catalog, page 74. So that's very helpful. Thank you, ma'am. So I guess, Jennifer, it's not, and the Stitch So Sweetly, so they're not a bundle anymore. Right, Jennifer? They're just sold separately. Because when they are initially, whenever a bundle initially comes out, if you really like the stamps and dies together, get them then. Get them in that catalog, because then if they're carried over into the next catalog, they won't be on sale. Okay, there's our card. But you can see here kind of why I like to fussy cut even a little bit more around the dies sometimes. Sometimes it's just too much white. I think in this case it looks fine with a little bit more white. Okay. Well, there you go. That's all she wrote, boys and girls. Thank y'all so much for tuning in. Let me take a name, take your, let me draw 4 door prizes here really quickly. And I know we're already running late, so I'm going to surprise you with what your door prize is, but I am going to draw the names. Okay. I believe Susan shared. So Susan gets put in twice. Jennifer is watching. Charlotte was watching, and y'all keep her in your prayers. Her husband is in the hospital, so her husband Tim. So that would be great if y'all will keep her in your thoughts and prayers. And Tim also. Let's see who else is tuned in. Anybody else before I draw? Let's see. Cindy. This is very official, you know, y'all. Y'all have seen a lot of people that have comment pickers on their computer screen. One of these days, I'm going to be big time too and be able to do all that. But right now, we're going to do it the old-fashioned way. Okay, so let's see. Did anybody else share? It just shows Susan on screen, so I appreciate you doing that, Susan. Okay, we're gonna draw. I can't believe how much of a mess I've made. Well, I can. I can too. I guess we all make messes, don't we? Okay, so y'all saw me put in Cindy, Charlotte, Jennifer, and Susan. Whoops. Sherry Hernandez is watching too, Jennifer. Is that what you're saying? Here. Sherry. Let's see. Okay. Oh, okay. Oh, Sherry Hernandez is Cindy's sister? Okay. How funny. Jennifer's last name is Hernandez. Okay. She's in, she's in, she's in. Okay, here we go. I'm getting the middle one. Susan! Yay! Thank you, thank you, thank you. All right. See, y'all get double chances for sharing, so I appreciate that. Thank you very much. All right. Well, Susan, I will have a wonderful door prize for you out in the box, or I will deliver it with your other one that is still out in the box. Thanks again for tuning in for Create with Kelley Paper Pumpkin. And if anybody has any questions or wants to know about next month's kit or wants to know about upcoming classes or anything, just give me a call, and hope you've all subscribed to my blog at createwithkelley.com and to the Facebook page that is also called Create with Kelley. And I'm in a group there is a group on the Facebook that is Create with Kelley Crew. So hope you'll join me on those. Dang it, I forgot to flip me up again. Just a sec. And I will do that so I can say bye. All right. Now, went a little too far. Okay. Well, thanks again for tuning in. I'm so glad y'all are here to join me, and thank you for your patience with me as I try to learn all this. And I appreciate you sharing and caring and sending handmade cards to make you feel good making them and make the recipient feel awesome also. It means so much. So thank you for tuning in. Have a great evening. See you next week. Bye. Fun times ahead. See you soon. Bye. Thanks for the compliments on the cards. Bye-bye.